If you've ever owned or considered buying one of these cars, this video matters to you personally. Because in just a year, 6 of the brands you grew up seeing could be gone, leaving buyers with discontinued vehicles, dwindling parts availability, and falling resale values. Many car owners don't realize they're about to be stranded by their favorite brand's collapse. But once you see the reasons, from collapsing profits to product lines with no future, you'll understand why avoiding them now is the smartest move you can make. Number 1. Nissan. What happens when a company that once defined Japanese reliability is forced to close the very factories that built its reputation? That's where Nissan stands today. The Yokohama plant, once considered a crown jewel of the brand's manufacturing network, is now on the chopping block. Along with it comes a major reduction in workforce and a sharp cut to global output. For a company that once competed with Toyota on equal footing, these moves tell a larger story of shrinking strength. The truth is, Nissan isn't just smaller, it's bleeding. With annual losses topping 670 billion yen, the company is struggling to maintain relevance in its largest markets. In the United States, sales have slipped well below former highs, while in China, competition from aggressive domestic EV makers has left Nissan grasping for air. Instead of charting bold new territory, the brand has resorted to awkward survival strategies, like producing pickup trucks for Honda. For an automaker that once prided itself on innovation, becoming a subcontractor is a sign of desperation. The future product roadmap offers little reassurance. Most of Nissan's bets are tied to e-power hybrids, a technology that has struggled to gain serious traction outside Japan. The lineup looks thin, with few exciting launches on the horizon. Without a compelling next chapter, this restructuring looks less like a fresh start and more like the final sprint before collapse. And while Nissan teeters on the edge, the next brand faces a slower, quieter, but equally inevitable end. Number 2. Chrysler. Have you noticed how rare it is to even find a Chrysler badge in a dealership today? Walk into most showrooms, and you'll see plenty of Jeeps, Dodges, and Rams, but Chrysler has all but vanished from the floor. That's because within Stellantis' massive collection of global brands, Chrysler survives by name alone, clinging to relevance with an outdated and minimal lineup. Right now, Chrysler's reality is stark. The brand is down to a sliver of what it once represented, with only a few minivan and sedan options that feel rooted in the past. The much-hyped Airflow EV project, which was teased as Chrysler's grand electric comeback, has stalled, putting into question whether it will ever actually reach customers. Without a breakthrough model, Chrysler has become a money-losing enterprise, no longer able to stand out in an industry where competitors are launching fresh EVs, crossovers, and hybrids at a relentless pace. To put Chrysler's decline into numbers, it sells fewer than 200,000 cars worldwide per year. Compare that to brands moving millions of vehicles annually, and the scale of how small and irrelevant it has become is clear. Stellantis has even hired outside consultants to study whether Chrysler deserves a future at all, a signal that corporate leadership views the brand as expendable. Once synonymous with American family sedans and practical minivans, Chrysler today doesn't compete in any core segment. It's increasingly a relic, teetering on the edge of being phased out quietly, without big announcements or grand farewells. At least Chrysler carries heritage, but as you'll see next, history alone doesn't guarantee survival. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Number 3. Alfa Romeo. What happens when a brand built on passion, racing heritage, and Italian design can't convince enough people to buy its cars? That's the problem Alfa Romeo faces today. Known for its sporty styling and distinct flair, the brand carries plenty of recognition in Europe, but beyond that, it's practically invisible. In the US, sales barely crack a few thousand units per year, placing it far behind even niche luxury competitors. For an automaker trying to justify its existence inside a corporate giant, those numbers signal trouble. Even at home, things don't look much better. Alfa's lineup is thin, with the Giulia sedan and Stelvio SUV carrying most of the weight. These models are attractive but limited, and they've been on the market for years with only minor updates. Promised expansions, especially in electrification, keep getting pushed back. The company teased multiple EVs and new crossovers, but the timelines remain vague, creating the sense of a brand always stuck in coming soon mode. Without fresh, exciting arrivals, customers have little incentive to stick around when competitors offer faster updates and broader choices. Alfa's survival currently hinges less on its own product strength and more on Stellantis's willingness to keep funding it. That's a risky position because corporate priorities often favor more profitable and reliable divisions. Romance may have built Alfa's image, but romance doesn't balance the books. With losses mounting and no clear growth path, the brand's future looks entirely dependent on outside support. While Alfa struggles to survive on looks alone, the next automaker is failing for a far simpler reason. It has almost nothing left to give its customers. Number 4, Mitsubishi. When was the last time you actually spotted a brand new Mitsubishi on the road? For many drivers, it feels like the brand has already disappeared. This is the same company that once carried global respect with models like the Eclipse and the legendary Lancer Evolution, cars that built a reputation for performance and excitement. Today, those icons are long gone, and Mitsubishi's lineup has shrunk to small crossovers and hybrids that fail to inspire interest or loyalty. The decline is hard to ignore in the US market. Dealerships that once proudly showcased the brand are closing or reducing floor space, and the models that remain, like the Outlander and Mirage, struggle to stand out in crowded segments. Younger buyers who never experienced the excitement of Mitsubishi's past barely recognize the brand at all. Without strong name recognition, it becomes increasingly difficult to compete, especially when rivals flood the market with stronger hybrids, stylish SUVs, and promising EVs. Mitsubishi's strategy relied heavily on its alliance with Nissan and Renault, but that cooperation has not created the breakthrough once advertised. Instead of delivering fresh vehicles, the partnership has left Mitsubishi with rebranded, lightly updated crossovers that look dated as soon as they arrive. With no compelling next-generation models announced, showroom traffic continues to shrink. The reality is that Mitsubishi isn't just struggling, it's fading into irrelevance. With nothing innovative on the horizon and almost no visibility left among buyers, the brand's disappearance by 2025 feels less like speculation and more like inevitability. Mitsubishi may slip away quietly, but the next carmaker shows that even popular names can lose their grip fast. Number 5, Mini. Did you know the quirky, lovable Mini is actually one of BMW's weakest links? For decades, Mini leaned on nostalgia, selling personality more than practicality. The brand had a clear identity: compact, stylish cars that stood out in traffic. But in today's market, nostalgia doesn't drive sales the way it once did. Minis remain colorful and recognizable, but demand has steadily declined, pushing them into an awkward corner inside BMW's global strategy. The problem isn't style, it's relevance. Buyers who once loved the charm of a small premium car are now drawn toward roomier SUVs and larger electric vehicles. Mini's tiny footprint and higher price tag make it a harder sell, especially when everyday buyers expect space, tech, and efficiency all in one package. Sales already peaked years ago, and every attempt at revitalizing the lineup has failed to reignite the excitement that once defined the brand. Even the push toward electrification hasn't saved Mini. While electric models exist, the margins remain slim and the demand doesn't match BMW's other divisions. EV Minis are still small, with limited range compared to competitors offering larger, more versatile options. That lack of competitive appeal leaves dealerships with slower turnover and shrinking loyalty from longtime fans. Number 6, Buick. What do you call a brand that doesn't quite fit anywhere anymore? That's Buick. Once known as a near-luxury choice for American families who wanted something a little nicer than Chevrolet without paying Cadillac prices, Buick has drifted into an awkward position. Its lineup is now reduced to a handful of SUVs, none of which carry a strong identity. The days when Buick sedans like the Regal or LaCrosse attracted buyers who valued comfort and prestige are over, leaving the brand without a clear reason to exist. In the United States, sales have dropped sharply. Most consumers under 40 barely even consider the nameplate, and recognition is fading year after year. The average Buick buyer today is over 55, which means younger generations aren't forming any attachment to the brand. That's dangerous in a market where automakers live or die by their ability to appeal to the next wave of customers. Even in China, Buick's last stronghold, and the only place where it's sold in meaningful numbers, competition is fierce, and domestic EV makers are cutting into its presence. The disappearance of these 6 car brands in 2025 will change what drivers see on the road and what options buyers have in showrooms. For anyone considering a new purchase, the risk goes beyond nostalgia. If you buy from a company on its last legs, you face falling resale values, limited spare parts, and shrinking dealership support. That can turn ownership into a costly and frustrating experience. Automakers may appear stable, but history shows their decline often happens faster than expected. What feels like a safe choice today can quickly become a stranded asset tomorrow with little warning.